and good night, everyone. This is update for March 14, 2022, day 19 of the war. It's generally very positional fighting day. There is not really much movement, almost at all. So we'll look at several places in more detail, as before we didn't have much time. And this now it gives us a little bit more time to be more specific. As always, we start in a clockwise fashion from north going towards east and south and then kind of west back again. So let's start with Kyiv. So here everything's quiet on the eastern side. On the western side, Russian forces realizing that there is a problem with Makariv and this juncture here on the Zhytomyr highway that Makariv kind of controls. So there were strong attacks on Makariv today, and then they also managed to push south of Zhytomyr highway. We don't know where everything ended up. We believe that they were repelled, but that's not confirmed information. But in any case, it doesn't make sense for them even to kind of move further south, because they have Makariv and 14th Brigade on the Ukrainian 14th Brigade on their flank, which they can always hit their flank, and it's just very uncomfortable position, especially since their move is actually poised to go all the way kind of southeast, all the way to Dnipro River here. So they want to cut off Kyiv from the south, and so far it doesn't, they have not succeeded at doing that. So that situation around Kyiv. Now let's keep going. Kharkiv is quiet. There is not even like fighting on the ground, just artillery and rocket shelling. And we believe the reason for that is that probably some of the Russian forces were regrouped and moved to Izyum area, where there were strong attacks by Russian forces on Ukrainian 81st Brigade. And the reason for that attack, the whole idea behind this move, is to break through Ukrainian defense lines here in Izyum, and then kind of create giant pocket encirclement of Ukrainian forces. As you can see, all of this group can be encircled. So they're thinking about, moving from south, which is here it's thinly defensed by Ukrainian forces. So they probably won't be able to withstand strong push here. And then the only gatekeeper here is 81st Brigade. So if they breach through here, they could create potentially giant pocket. And we'll see. So far, the Russian forces are not successful at that. And just a reminder how it looks in Izyum area. For those who are new, here we can see that Ukrainian forces control southern part of the town, which is kind of on looks like a peninsula, and blue is a river that separates, and Russian forces control northern part of the town. So, and the advantage of the Ukrainian forces here is that the southern bank of this river is like a high ground, so they have a better position relative to attacking Russian forces. Now let's move south to Mariupol here, and let's look a little bit more in detail what's going on there. Here, a little bit more updated map of the situation around city of Mariupol, and I just want to explain the significance of this city. It has like one of the two largest steel mills in Ukraine, and extremely competitive price-wise. So they were exporting a lot of steel to the international market. That was a significant source of revenue and income for Ukrainian economy as a whole. This one is Azovstal, and this number 2 is Ilyich steel mill. Then there is actually surprisingly another important economic object here. It's one of the major producers of neon gas in the world. It's called InGas. and it supplies about 30% of the worldwide consumption of neon gas. And neon gas is used for the production of chips. So all of the, computer, cell phones, cars, everything is dependent on this thing. So that's super important. It's this production facility is idle. There is another one in Ukraine, in Odessa, but that one is smaller, and that one is supplying about 20% of the international market. So together, these two facilities supply 50% of the neon market. So that's another economic significance of this city. So here we can see that Russian forces managed to kind of create a dent in Ukrainian defenses here from the east, and this is attacked by 150th Russian division, and also they tried to attack from this from northeast axis, but to our knowledge they were repelled there. So let's just kind of look a little bit in detail how everything goes here. So Russian forces attack along the three major streets in this part of the town. One is called Peremoge Avenue. So this is the one axis of attack. Then there is Azovstalska Street. That's another axis of attack. And then there is Morsky Boulevard. This street that goes kind of here. So those are three main. They move along those three main streets here, and just quarter to quarter fighting. And just as a reminder, city being defended by Azov Regiment and remnants of 36 Brigade, and there are smaller units as well in town. We don't know exactly which ones. So that's all for Mariupol. And in terms of Mariupol, there are a lot of speculations about relieving Mariupol, Ukrainian forces relieving. First of all, there is not enough Ukrainian forces to relieve Mariupol, because they all tied up trying to hold this front line here. So there's simply not enough reserves, and if there were reserves, there is a problem of attacking towards Mariupol for Ukrainian forces, because Russia has control over the air. So and this is all like flat terrain, extremely flat with no trees. So you kind of perfect target for airplanes here. So if Ukrainian forces were to try to relieve Mariupol, they would be just obliterated, and it would be suicidal attack for Ukrainian forces. So it's actually very unclear what's going to happen here with the defenders of Mariupol. Now let's look a little bit at Makariv situation in more detail. There's no changes there. We just want to kind of explain what's going on there in more detail. So here in Makariv, you can see there are three main rivers, these blue lines. And so it was important for Russian forces to get across this. This is called Southern Bug, this river, in Voznesensk, because then they can threaten Odessa from there. They can do many other things there. So it was important that Ukrainian forces held Voznesensk, and Russian forces had to retreat. And now one of the scouting groups is here between these two rivers, and then the Ukrainian forces hold Vashtanka, which is blocking their path towards north. Here the bridges were blown as well, so it's kind of blocking their passage. And also, to our knowledge, Ukrainian forces hold Snigurivka, so they kind of blocked from these directions. And then also Ukrainian Army 59th Brigade attacked towards straight east and managed to move 10 kilometers east of Mykolaiv, which again creates another kind of uncomfortable situation for this scouting group. And we believe this belongs to 10th Special Forces Brigade of the Russian army. So they tend not to have heavy equipment such as tanks. So this is mostly They use BTRs, BDMs, and all that, like relatively light equipment that's has only anti-bullet protection. So this is what's going on here, and we're actually not even sure that this group have not retreated back to the main forces, which are around town of city of Kherson. We also don't know what happened to this group, scouting group that went somewhere here. It's probably just standing there at this moment because I think the Russian army is trying to figure out what to do, whether to attack Makariv or kind of move here, but then they cannot really move towards Kryvyi Rih or Nikopol, which are two important, economically important places as well, because they have then this Ukrainian forces in Mykolaiv, which can always hit their flank. So this is kind of situation overall here, and hope that helps. And this is it for today. And then one more piece of information. We identified another Russian brigade, 21st Brigade. Unfortunately, we don't know where it is on the front lines here. So at this point, we have these 3 units, Russian units, that we don't know where they are, but they are somewhere on these front lines. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Until tomorrow. Bye-bye.